Welcome back to another episode of Boom or Bust. I'm your host Terry, and today talking about T.O. and his Hall of Fame decision. This is something that's been going around for a little bit, but as we get closer and closer to the actual induction ceremony where Chicago's own Brian Urlacher will be inducted as a Hall of Fame member. Let's go, number 54. One notable person will be absent, and that's T.O. So, we know T.O. as a player and a character, when he was on the field, but ever since leaving the league, we still, if you've listened to T.O. at any point, we still heard this kind of rallying cry against the Hall of Fame that he felt was being biased against him and that he should have been inducted as a first ballot. And so he's had his beef with the Hall of Fame committee prior to. So now that T.O. is, or Terrell Owens, if you don't know for some reason, is finally inducted into the Hall, he decided that he's not going to attend the ceremony and he's going to do his own thing. And so, of course, on the surface, it looks like T.O.'s just kind of saying F you to the Hall and all the things y'all did over the years instead of putting me in. So there's that. T.O. insists that it has nothing to do with, slighting the Hall of Fame. That is more so to do with he wants to celebrate it in a way that he feels is, more in tune with, I guess whatever he feels. So I just want to talk about my 2 cents on it. And surprisingly, you might be surprised. I have to side with T.O. on this. I would have to side with T.O. on this. And I wouldn't say it's more of a who's wrong, who's right, and T.O. getting first ballot. It's just more of let's talk about what he's choosing to do and if you think it's okay. And for me, I think it's okay because he earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame. And some people, there's a lot of sides to it. So some people have said, like a Chris Carter and other Hall of Famers, that they liken it to a graduation of sorts where it's about you, but it's also about all the people that help you get there and for them to be honored and them to kind of have their moment if they, Lord willing, still alive. But I feel like it's a little different because getting to the league is definitely one thing that takes a whole bunch of support. And even excelling in the league, you're not going to do it by yourself. But excelling in the league to a Hall of Fame level and getting to the league, to me, are two different things. Like draft night, I could understand. I could understand that more likened to a graduation. Hall of Fame's different because there's so many things that go into it. And you're grown at that point, of course. So, the moms, the dads, the coaches, the cousins, even to an extent, the wife and kids, there's not as much help that they can give you. Now, I'm not saying discredit any of them. I'm just saying it's not the same level of help because to get in the Hall of Fame, which is one of the most exclusive halls for football, at least, you really have to produce day in and day out and do some incredible things. And so, coaches, teammates, trainers, that stuff kind of takes more to the forefront. And it is a day for them kind of too, but I would say like the draft, people choose to stay home. More and more people are choosing to stay home and nobody really turned their nose up at people doing that. And they definitely don't do it now as it's become more popular. But some people say, well, if it's for them, I want to spend it with them. And so T.O. has decided that instead of going to the Hall, he's going to have a ceremony thing at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, a smaller school in Tennessee where he went to school. And that's where he first kind of got, the idea that he could be a professional athlete. And so those teammates, those coaches, family, all those things, he said that was the best time in his life. And, the turmoil he went through in the league, we could probably understand that. So he's saying that's where he's going to do it at because that's who he feels he wants to celebrate with. I can't knock that. It's not like T.O. said, I'm going to say F the Hall of Fame ceremony and I'm going to go down the street to Cleveland and hold my own party. Like, it's not like he's doing that. He's saying that y'all right. Like, it's kind of the same coin, just, a different, side of it where you're right. This is for them. This is to celebrate them. And I want to do it with them. And for me, it was initially, I didn't take it as FU Hall of Fame. I took it as with the draft because for me, I'm like, yeah, if it's me, I'm going to be at the draft. I'm going to go to the ceremony set up for it. But when people want to do their own thing, I can't knock them for it. It's not like T.O.'s going to a bar by himself to, buy shots for everybody and watch it on TV. No, he's doing his own ceremony with his loved ones. So I honestly have to side with him. And then you take it to the other side where the Hall of Fame has said they're not going to announce him in anything. Like, he'll be in the promotional materials. They'll send him all his stuff and everything, but they're not going to announce him during any of the ceremonies. Now, to me, it's tough. A lot of people are saying they're being petty and just kind of, retaliate to T.O. And part of me, just straight logistically, I'm like, why would you spend time announcing that if he's not there and then nobody's there to, like, on his behalf? Because you can make the argument, like, when a player has passed away and they still do that, or you don't see it a lot, but sometimes maybe a player's not healthy enough to attend, then they'll still have them in the ceremony. But the difference there is they have people who come on their behalf. And so T.O. and all his squad or whoever is going to be at his ceremony. So logistically, yeah, skip over his name and keep this thing moving. It's already a long ceremony, like the Gold Jack ceremony. What's the point of saying his name? He's not even there to get the jacket. Like, now, if you introduce the class or you say this year's Hall of Fame class is such and such, yes, I think his name should be in there. But other than that, I don't know that I think personally it was out of being petty. They sing, cause they said this is about the guys that are here and he's not here. So like, that is kind of like, taking it too far. You could have just said, okay, it's logistical, or you could have, whatever. But no, they made sure to know that note that everybody should hear he's not going to be here. That's his choice. So we skipping him. We ain't going to waste time mentioning him. So it comes off as petty, and I'm sure it comes off that way, but logistically I wouldn't did it anyway, even if I wasn't feeling petty, cause we got to keep the thing moving. But also at the Hall of Fame, it comes down to this, and the T.O. debate has gone on, and you can't really dispute it. To me, it's no debate. The Hall of Fame, this is what they are charged with. This is the way they wrote it. This is the way it's been. Is not supposed to consider off the field issues. It is only supposed to be what happens between the lines. So now you have to stop and think and debate, I guess. Is the locker room off the field or is it on the field? Now, technically, of course, it's not on the field, but they are in uniforms. They're with the team. They're on the, company clock, so to speak. That is a big part of it. Practice, all that. But you also aren't playing. So it is that gray area in between. And the same thing with the sideline. Technically, you're not on the field in between the lines. You're not playing. But you are on company time. So when we talk about T.O. and his whole demeanor that people didn't like and his reputation as a bad teammate, does that qualify to be taken into consideration? And I don't think so, personally. And this is coming from a coach. I know how important good teammates are. I know how important it is to have chemistry. And I don't like divas. Of course, no coach likes divas. But even still, I would have to say, as the Hall of Fame goes, that's not something that goes into consideration. It's about you as a player. Now, you could talk about stats versus level of competition versus respect amongst the league, you know, with the better defenders, how they felt going against T.O., or just accomplishments as far as rings. You could debate those things, but those all happen on the field. That's all about being a player. Debating, well, he's a bad teammate, that's tough. And it's not just, conspiracy. People have said, analysts have said, Hall of Fame voters in journalism have said this. Non-Hall of Famers but former players have said this many times, that they don't like T.O. and they don't feel the things he did was right, and they have issues with what T.O., how he acted as a player. And so it's not like T.O. was being a conspiracy and they didn't put me in because of that, because the man was number 3 in almost every major receiving category. It was very clear cut from the Hall of Fame. We not putting you in. This is punishment for how you act. Now, I knew T.O. was going to go in eventually, but he should have been first ballot. And honestly, and this might sound sacrilegious, I know, but if Urlacher could go in first ballot with Ray Lewis, T.O. should have been first ballot as a receiver. Because the receiver is a long log jam, but T.O. is one of the best. And so it was just crazy to me. It was crazy to me that he wasn't going in. The times that he got passed over, and I can understand his frustration with the Hall of Fame. Now, did T.O. become a better person? Did he apologize? Did, seem more? I don't know, but that's the politics of it. I'm just talking about the football part of it. He should have been in. And the Hall of Fame, I'm not saying they shouldn't be petty towards him. Just because you should be able to celebrate how you want to celebrate. Whether it was T.O. or Ray Lewis or Dan Marino or Walter Payton, anybody else. If anyone decided to celebrate a different way, then that's their right. They made it to the Hall of Fame. They made it to one of the most exclusive clubs. And so they shouldn't feel petty about it. And then if T.O. really didn't like the Hall of Fame, or he really didn't care, or was disrespectful to the Hall of Fame, then why would he care so much? Why would he be upset about not getting in? So, I mean, obviously he respects Hall of Fame. Obviously it's something he really wanted, and it's something that he still really appreciates being voted in. It's just that, and I definitely think, I'll admit it, some saltiness on his side, but I still think it's more of I want to kind of celebrate my own way thing. And if anybody was going to celebrate their own way, T.O. is one of the names you would put on that top 10 list. So I'm not shocked by it. Not really at all. Now, if Tom Brady gets in and he's like, yeah, after the Hall of Fame, I'm going to do this over here, I'd be shocked by that. But T.O., I'm not shocked by. So, but that's my thoughts. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about T.O.'s decision. Do you think he's right? You think the Hall is right? Do you think you should go? Or do you think it's okay to have your own thing? Thumbs up, subscribe, share it around, get the convo started. And thank you for listening.